Your doctor gave you the news. Cholesterol too high, so you did what everyone tells you to do. Eggs gone, butter gone. That steak you used to look forward to on Sundays gone. And a few months later, you check the number again, and it barely budged. There's a reason for that, and it's something almost nobody sits down and explains properly. Here's the truth. The food on your plate is not where most of your blood cholesterol comes from. Your liver builds it day in and day out and pours it into your intestines wrapped inside a fluid called bile. Then, almost immediately, your body turns around and pulls about 95% of that same cholesterol straight back in. You're not eating your way into high cholesterol so much as you're stuck in a loop, recycling the same cholesterol again and again. That's exactly why crossing foods off your list one by one never moved the needle much. The real lever is different. It's about eating foods that reach into your gut, latch onto that cholesterol before it gets reabsorbed, and physically carry it out of your body for good. I'm Dr. James Myers, and today I'm walking you through the 10 foods that do precisely that. And some of them work faster than most people expect. Before we get to the list, one quick note. Everything I share with my own patients about protecting the heart after 60, I've packaged into one straightforward plan. Thousands of people are already following it to rebuild their health. You'll find the link right on your screen. Now let's get into the foods themselves. Keep one idea in mind and the entire list will click into place. Every single food on this list is doing one of two jobs inside you.
Either it's grabbing onto bile in your gut so that cholesterol actually leaves your body instead of getting recycled, or it's feeding the beneficial bacteria living in your gut, the ones that break cholesterol down so it can never be absorbed in the first place. That's the entire mechanism, nothing more complicated than that. Load your plate with more of these foods and more cholesterol exits your body instead of building up inside your arteries. If you want something concrete to aim for, it's roughly 5 to 10 grams of soluble fiber daily. That's the figure Mayo Clinic points to for a genuine drop, and the list ahead makes hitting it easy. There's a flip side worth knowing too. Saturated fat and refined starches, think fried foods and white bread, quietly signal to your body to hang on to cholesterol rather than release it. So as you're adding these 10 foods, backing away from that other stuff is what lets them actually do their job.
One inexpensive thing to do before anything else. Ask your doctor just once for a blood test called lipoprotein(a). Say it exactly that way. This is the genetic slice of your cholesterol picture that no amount of clean eating can touch, and most people go their entire lives without ever having it checked. One test, one time, and you'll know whether there's a hidden risk lurking beneath your usual numbers. After that, the real work happens on your plate, 3 times a day, every day. Let's start with number 10. Number 10, garlic. Crush a raw clove and you release a compound called allicin, the same thing responsible for that sharp smell and sting. Allicin pulls double duty here. It nudges your bad cholesterol down a bit, and it quiets the low-level inflammation that makes cholesterol stick to your artery walls to begin with. The National Institutes of Health has reviewed the research, and the effect is real, though modest. Just a handful of points. So think of garlic as a supporting player, not the star of the show. It also tends to ease blood pressure down slightly, so your heart gets a second small favor out of the deal. Still, it's a low-effort win, and there's a trick most people never learn. Allicin only forms after you crush or chop the clove and let it rest for about 10 minutes. Toss raw garlic straight into a hot pan and you destroy that compound before it can do anything at all. So crush it, let it sit on the cutting board while the rest of dinner comes together, then add it near the end of cooking. If you'd rather roast it whole, still in its skin, since that protects the most allicin. 1 or 2 cloves daily is plenty, and skip the aged black garlic or the pickled jars if cholesterol is your target, because most of the allicin is gone long before it reaches you. Number 9, onions. Onions are loaded with a prebiotic fiber called inulin, and inulin happens to be exactly what those beneficial gut bacteria are craving. Feed them well, and they break down more bile and help push it out of your system. Every bit of bile you lose forces your liver to pull more cholesterol out of your bloodstream to replace it. That's the cycle working in your favor for once. Onions bring something else too, an antioxidant called quercetin, which calms inflammation and has been linked in research to modestly lower blood pressure. The whole onion family counts here. Red onions, white onions, leeks, shallots, and garlic again. Cooking them is perfectly fine, by the way. That prebiotic fiber holds up to heat, so a pan of caramelized onions is still nourishing your gut bacteria. Onions do one more thing people rarely give them credit for. They make genuinely healthy food. The beans, the greens, actually taste good enough that you'll come back to it tomorrow. That matters more than people admit because the single best cholesterol-fighting food in the world does nothing for you if it's so bland you abandon it within a week. Cook onions into whatever you're already making and don't strip away too many outer layers, since a lot of the beneficial compounds sit close to the skin. Number 8, broccoli. Broccoli delivers soluble fiber, sure, but its real power move is a compound called glucoraphanin. Chop the broccoli, and an enzyme converts that glucoraphanin into sulforaphane, and sulforaphane flips on a protective system inside your cells known as NRF2. Think of NRF2 as your body's built-in shield against the everyday wear and tear that stiffens and ages your blood vessels. Researchers at Johns Hopkins have studied sulforaphane extensively and connected it to lower bad cholesterol and reduced inflammation. Large population studies also link people who eat the most cruciferous vegetables to lower rates of heart disease overall.
Here's the step almost nobody bothers with. Chop your broccoli and let it rest for 20 to 30 minutes before cooking it. That waiting period gives the enzyme time to actually produce the sulforaphane. Cook it the moment you cut it, and the heat destroys most of that benefit before it ever forms. Steam it until just tender and avoid boiling it into gray mush, since boiling leaches the good compounds straight into the water. If you want to go further, broccoli sprouts pack far more sulforaphane, gram for gram, than the grown florets. And if you truly can't stand broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts belong to the same family and do the same job. Number 7, ground flaxseed. This might be the single easiest addition on the entire list. Flax ranks among the richest sources you can find of that gel-forming soluble fiber that traps bile.
On top of that, it carries a plant-based omega-3 along with compounds called lignans, and both of those lower cholesterol on their own. Put it together, and the research Cleveland Clinic points to shows that ground flax can meaningfully reduce bad cholesterol, particularly with daily use. There's one catch, though, and it's a big one, so pay attention. Eat flax seeds whole, and they pass straight through you, giving you almost nothing because your gut can't crack open that tough outer shell. They have to be ground. Buy them pre-ground or grind them yourself in an inexpensive coffee grinder and store them in the fridge so the oil doesn't turn. 2 tablespoons daily is the target. Stir it into oatmeal, yogurt, a smoothie, or sprinkle it over soup, whatever you already eat. You won't even taste it, and it costs next to nothing. No flax on hand? Ground chia seeds work as a solid substitute in the same way. Either way, drink a little extra water so the fiber moves through comfortably. Number 6, apples. That old saying about an apple a day genuinely holds up. Apples are rich in a soluble fiber called pectin, and pectin grabs onto cholesterol in your gut and escorts it out of your body. And there's real evidence behind this, not just folklore. A 2020 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition had participants eat 2 apples daily and track their bad cholesterol and triglycerides dropping over the following weeks. The whole apple offers a second benefit too. It's bulky and filling, so eating one leaves you satisfied, meaning you're far less likely to reach for a cookie an hour later. Just make sure it's the actual fruit. Applesauce contains a fraction of the fiber, and apple juice has almost none, plus a heavy dose of sugar, and that sugar drives your triglycerides upward, another blood fat you don't want climbing. Eat the whole apple, skin included, since much of the pectin lives right there. Apples aren't alone either. Pears, oranges, and even the humble carrot are packed with pectin as well, so work them into your routine. Quick pause, if this is helping you, hit subscribe and drop a like. Takes 2 seconds, and it genuinely helps this channel keep going. Now, back to the list. Number 5, walnuts. Most of this list revolves around fiber, but walnuts earn their place through an entirely different route. They're rich in healthy polyunsaturated fat, including a plant omega-3, and when that fat replaces the saturated fat you'd otherwise be snacking on, your bad cholesterol drops and your artery lining functions better. The American Heart Association links a small daily handful of walnuts to lower heart disease risk, and studies show it's enough to nudge bad cholesterol down by a few percentage points. Walnuts carry the most of that plant omega-3, though almonds and pistachios lower cholesterol as well, so pick whichever you'll actually keep stocked at home. Just watch your portions, since nuts are calorie dense. A small handful, about a quarter cup, is the sweet spot, not the whole bag in front of the television and not the sugar-coated candied version. Walnuts are also a good moment to clear up some confusion about fat, because most people have it backwards. The saturated fat found in fatty cheese, fried food, and packaged pastries does the exact opposite of everything on this list. It tells your gut to hold on to its bile and cholesterol rather than release it. But the fat found in nuts, olive oil, avocado, and fish genuinely supports your heart. It's the hard, solid saturated fat, the kind that stays firm at room temperature, that quietly works against you. Number 4, barley. Now we're getting into the real heavy hitters. Barley is loaded with a specific soluble fiber called beta-glucan, and beta-glucan is the single best bile trapper out there. It forms a thick gel inside your gut and excels at its one job. The evidence is solid enough that the FDA allows food companies to print a heart health claim right on the packaging. A review by Ho and colleagues found that barley beta-glucan lowered bad cholesterol by around 7%. The simplest way to use it is a direct swap. Replace the white rice next to your dinner with barley, or toss a handful into a soup or stew, where it thickens things up nicely. Just like that, you've converted a dead, fiber-free starch into one of the most effective cholesterol tools available. Choose whole barley over pearled barley when you can find it, since pearling strips away the outer layer and takes some of the fiber along with it. Here's a bonus trick that works for barley or any grain. Cook it, chill it in the fridge overnight, and eat it the next day. That cooling process converts some of the starch into what's called resistant starch, which feeds your good bacteria and helps stabilize your blood sugar on top of everything else. Number 3, black beans. If you're eating meat most nights, this is the single biggest change you can make. A few nights a week, swap the meat for black beans instead. Beans bring soluble fiber along with resistant starch, and that resistant starch feeds bacteria that produce butyrate. Butyrate essentially fuels your gut lining, and it's part of how your gut keeps cholesterol moving out of your body rather than back in. The evidence on beans is strong. A review published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal pulled the research together and found that just one serving of beans or lentils daily lowered bad cholesterol by roughly 5%. That's a plain, inexpensive food accomplishing what a lot of people are hoping a pill will do for them. And I'll be honest with you, beans can leave some people a little gassy the first week or two. That's simply your gut bacteria adjusting to the new fiber, and it settles down. A couple of tricks help here. With dried beans, soak them overnight and discard that water. With canned beans, rinse them thoroughly, start with half a cup and build up from there. Push through the adjustment period because the payoff makes it worthwhile. Number 2, navy beans. All beans support your health, but the white ones, navy beans, are the soluble fiber champions of the entire group. A single cup delivers around 19 grams of fiber, more than most Americans consume in an entire day, sitting right there in one bowl. And that fiber isn't just trapping bile, it's feeding the whole community of beneficial bacteria we keep returning to. The ones that convert your cholesterol into a form your body simply cannot reabsorb. It doesn't have to be navy beans specifically, by the way. Lentils, chickpeas, kidney beans, pinto beans, they all move in the same direction. Rotate them throughout the week so you don't grow tired of any single one. Here's something worth knowing. Beans appear in the everyday diet of nearly every population known for exceptional longevity on Earth, and there's a reason for that. Keep a few cans in your cupboard, rinse them well to cut down on salt and gas, and stir a cup into soups, salads, chili, whatever's already on your plate. Plain, inexpensive, unglamorous, and it flat out works, which is exactly why it earned such a high spot on this list. And number 1, the single most researched cholesterol-lowering food on the planet, oats. Oats carry that same beta-glucan found in barley, and they have more research behind them for lowering cholesterol than nearly any other food on Earth. Get around 3 grams of beta-glucan daily, roughly 1 solid bowl of oatmeal, and both Mayo Clinic and the FDA point to a 5 to 10% drop in bad cholesterol within weeks, not years. That's genuinely fast, and it's an honest claim. Stick with real oats, steel-cut or old-fashioned rolled, and skip the sugary instant packets, since that added sugar works directly against you. If you want to push even further, Oat Bran contains even more beta-glucan than regular oats. Top your bowl with berries or a spoonful of that ground flax instead of a mound of brown sugar, sprinkle on some cinnamon, and you've done more for your heart before 9 in the morning than a decade of avoiding eggs ever accomplished. Now, one final piece I promised at the beginning, and it matters. Some of you are going to do every single thing on this list and still watch your numbers stay stubbornly high. You are not doing anything wrong. About a third of people fall into a group we call super absorbers. Your genetics essentially program your gut to grab and recycle every last bit of cholesterol it possibly can. If you've been eating clean for months with no movement on your number, or if high cholesterol runs strongly in your family, showing up even in the lean, active relatives, assume that's you. You didn't cause this, your genes did. The encouraging news is that genetic absorption is precisely what a daily wall of soluble fiber is designed to overcome. For you specifically, 3 foods carry most of the weight, and they're the ones I get most excited about: oats, barley, and beans. The key word is daily, not occasionally. That consistency is what brings a stubborn number down, often enough to keep you off a second medication. There's one more tool built specifically for super absorbers, plant sterols, and stanols. These are compounds that compete with cholesterol for absorption inside your gut and block some of it from entering your bloodstream at all. You'll find them added to certain spreads and orange juice and in smaller amounts in nuts, seeds, and vegetable oils. About 2 grams daily can lower bad cholesterol by another 10% or so, a genuinely meaningful reduction. If you suspect you're a super absorber, that's worth raising with your doctor. People often ask me how fast is fast, really. Stay consistent with this approach, and your bad cholesterol can begin dropping within about 2 to 4 weeks, continuing to improve from there. One thing worth noting, your cholesterol reflects your blood over a period of days, so eating well for 2 days right before a blood test won't fake a good result. It's the daily habit sustained over weeks that actually shifts the number. One more easy win before we wrap up. If you want to trap even more bile, a spoonful of plain psyllium husk stirred into a glass of water is about as pure a source of soluble fiber as you'll find, the same ingredient in most store-bought fiber supplements. Take it once daily with plenty of water, and it works right alongside everything else on this list. One honest note before we close, because it matters. Food is powerful, but it works alongside your doctor, not instead of them. If your cholesterol is very high, if you've already had a cardiac scare, or if you're currently taking a statin, please don't stop anything or skip an appointment because of a video you watched online. Bring this information to your doctor instead. Tell them you want to give nutrition a genuine, honest try and ask them to recheck your numbers in a few months. For many people, these foods are enough entirely on their own. For others, they're what allows a lower medication dose to finish the job. Either way, food is the foundation everything else builds on. If you change just one thing starting tomorrow, change your breakfast. A bowl of oats with a spoonful of ground flax, and you're already disrupting that recycling loop that's kept your numbers stuck for years. And if all 10 feels like too much to juggle at once, don't overthink it. Oats in the morning, beans at dinner, a handful of nuts and an apple somewhere in between. Do that most days, and you've essentially covered the whole list. Start there, add the rest gradually, and let your body finally release the cholesterol it's been holding on to. If this helped you today, subscribe so the next video finds you, and leave a comment telling me which food you're starting with first. Take good care of that heart of yours. It's been working for you this whole time. Give it the fuel it deserves. I'll see you in